And welcome to the second debut of the Health and Beauty Seminar. And we are coming to you live from Blessings Way Behavioral Health. And I'm here with Dr. Mary L. Jennings. And so we're happy to be here today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about autism because it's National Autism Month. So
That's right.
what would you like to say about autism before we get into our Q&A back and forth? What is autism?
Well, autism is a neural dysfunction, a neurodevelopment dysfunction that happens within the womb. And the most important part about it is the earlier you realize your child has it, the better the treatment can be. So let's say you have a 6-month-old that never makes eye contact with you.
Right.
Or don't want to play or anything like that. You have a 1-year-old that doesn't smile and doesn't interact socially. It's generally more, the social disorder is more noticeable.
Right.
Because 1-year-olds generally don't play with each other, but they will play with the toys.
Right.
With autism, you know, depends on what type they have. There's 4 stages of it. You know, used to call Asperger's. Those are the most, the ones who definitely can live a regular life.
Okay.
Okay. You might notice something a little odd, but they get good jobs. They're able to move on. Then you have autism number 2. Again, the earlier it's caught, the better the results.
Okay.
Okay. So at 24 months, this child hasn't talked, smiled, everything has to, or maybe they did, you know, talk a little bit, but everything has to be pretty much the same way every day. You ever seen that movie Rain Man?
Yes. Yes.
He had to look, I think it was Jeopardy or something. He had to see that every day.
Right.
If you deviated from that at all, he would go off or whatever.
Right.
So the objective now, what they're really pushing for parents to pay close attention to your kids from 6 months to 12 months.
Okay.
24 months, at least 20, no less than 24 months, so they can take and, you know, help them out whatever kind of way they can.
Okay.
Now the other 2 tend to be learning disabled, but that doesn't mean that they can't function somewhat.
Right.
Okay, especially the 4th, autism number 4 is pretty bad, but you would know that way before 6 months.
Who would the signs be?
This child wouldn't probably respond to you at all. Not
So they're probably well within their own world.
right, within their own world. The most exciting story I've ever heard about autism, and I think this kid might have been 3 or something like that. Like, he couldn't talk or anything, didn't really go to school. His father was something big in the corporate world, and his father took him on a helicopter ride of the city. And his son came back and drew the city. Detailed, very detailed.
I heard about that.
So the father, I'm glad you did. So you did. Okay, so the father looks at the drawing, like you said, very detailed, excellent, you know, penmanship, everything's perfect. And he's like, that doesn't exist. Because the father has the same thing in his, you know, his office that he done paid people to do.
Right.
Right? And so he goes back out himself, the dad, to see if this building exists. The building exists.
Yeah.
Isn't that's amazing what the brains can do, right?
Yeah. Most of the, well, I shouldn't say most, many of the stories I've heard of people who are on the autistic chart, I don't know if the word is still relevant, but what were called in my days savants.
Oh, it is savant. That's
yes, I remember. Well, I
like they
didn't-
really, no,
Well,
it
they
means
really
you're smart,
excel
but
in one area of life, and then the rest of their life is in not so well. I'll put it like that. But they really excel. For instance, I was watching 60 Minutes, and they had one who could play piano. And the gentleman said, okay, well, can you play Beethoven's Fifth? And he started playing Beethoven's Fifth. Then he said, could you play it like Stevie Wonder would play it? And he played Beethoven's Fifth, but it sounded like a Stevie Wonder composition. I'm like, who in the world left the gate open?
I saw that one too.
You know, here's what I think about autism, and I watched the show Big Bang Theory, and they have a character on there named Sheldon who the character he's based on or whatever is definitely on the autistic chart and probably has Asperger's, and people would judge him and so on and so forth. And then when he explained like why he sat in the same spot all the time, because of the way that the temperature was, and he got a good breeze from the window, and he went into this long drawn out story. But then I said, you know what? It does make a lot of sense. It makes too much sense to the average person, and that's why it annoys them. But he's not just sitting in there because that's my spot. In his mind, there's a list of why he wants that to be his spot. My reason for bringing this up is because there's so many different types of people in the world.
Yes, it is.
There are 32 flavors of ice cream or more. So if you like chocolate and I don't like chocolate, that doesn't mean that you're right and I'm wrong. It just means that you like what you like, I like what I like. There are people who are dyslexic, and they can't learn the way that I learned when I was in school. And there are other people who can't learn the way I learned when I was in school for cultural reasons, background reasons, environment, nurturing. Maybe they had a father in the home. Maybe they didn't have a good breakfast. And I'm saying all that to say this. I think a lot of times we should look at the whole person and the whole story and not